Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we are sitting down and we're chatting all things single mom and dating. So I took to Instagram and I saw that obviously everybody wants to know, who's this guy you're dating, how did you meet, what's going on with that, and everything. And I decided to ask you guys on Instagram to shoot me some questions, and I thought I would sit down and film this video and get you guys caught up with everything in my personal life. So I have the questions down written here in my trusty notepad, and I'm just going to answer a few of them. Most of them were, you know, the same questions over and over. How'd you guys meet? Like, who is this guy? And da-da-da. So I'm going to just congest all of that into one little video here and get all your questions answered and share with you my experiences on dating and being a single mom. So getting everybody caught up really quick, I have been dating my boyfriend for almost a year now. His name is G. Kids call him G, I call him babe, whatever, but people call him G, and that's like what he likes to go by, so we will know him as G here on YouTube. So we met at a bar, and nothing super fancy. Like, there's a bar down in Huntington Beach where we met. It's called The Bungalow. It's really chill, really nice bar, and that's how I liked to do my dates when I was dating. Like, it was more like, all right, let's go to a bar, let's get a drink and let's chat. Let's go for coffee, let's get a drink and let's chat. Something quick, something short, because I don't want to do any long extended dates, because if I just caught the vibe that it wasn't going to go well, a quick drink and I could be out. We ended up going to that bar and we sat and we talked and we had a few drinks and we just vibed very well. Even if we had like awkward silences, it wasn't awkward. It was like cute, you know what I mean? And it was really funny, and he's generally like a great person, and I just caught onto that vibe immediately. And I think one thing that sold me, that wanted me to keep trying to see where this relationship could go, was just how he made me feel just by looking at me. And not a lot of people could give you that look, and it just makes you intrigued and want to have more of that. They have some type of vibe around them, and that's what G had. And when I tell you, this man looked at me like I was the only person in the bar, I swear everybody else disappeared except for us. And I wanted more of that, and I wanted to see where that could go. That's how me and my boyfriend met. Now you're all caught up. He's really quite amazing, and the kids love him. And we're gonna zoom right into the next question. When do you think it's a good idea to introduce your kids to the man that you are dating? I introduced my kids to my boyfriend like way before they even met him. So when I say that, that means I introduced the idea of mommy dating somebody else that wasn't their dad, and how did they feel about having another man inside their lives, and how would they take on, you know, all of that change. So many months before I even introduced the kids to my boyfriend, I asked them, how do they feel? Like, how do you feel about mommy dating somebody or having a boyfriend? How would you feel about that? Now, Nadia was indifferent with the whole idea. Like, she's young and she kind of just, you know what I mean? And she was so young with this divorce that I feel like this is something that she's always been used to, by having mom and dad not living together and having separate homes, separate lives, you know, and I think she's kind of adapted to that. Whereas Nathan, he's had Carlo and I in his life like the majority of his life. And so my thing was definitely focusing on communicating with him and seeing how he would feel to have me date somebody and have a man in his life who wasn't his father. And I asked him just casually, you know, not making it a big deal, like, hey, this is gonna be your new stepdad and he's gonna be taking over and da-da-da, nothing like that. Just super casual. I was driving home one day from the grocery store and I was like, hey Nate, how would you feel if, you know, I started dating somebody, or if I had a boyfriend? Like, how would you feel about that? Would that bother you? Or, you know, how would you like that idea? How do you feel? And I was like, you can be completely honest with me, and I would really appreciate your honesty. Let him know that it's comfortable, that he tells you exactly how he feels. Like, no filter, no like, oh, I don't want to hurt your feelings, or oh, I don't want to make her mad. No, just tell me freely. This is a safe space. Communicate and talk to me with your emotions. What set everything for me, and I knew that he was okay with it and he was ready, is just how he communicated with me. You know your child, and you know what they're going to be ready for and how they feel and how they communicate and what's the underlining with that term that they just used or that phrase and sentence. Like, you know your child. And Nathan tells me, I don't mind you dating anybody. As long as he doesn't hurt you like dad did, then I'm okay with it. And when I tell you, like, I almost cried to hear like my 10-year-old saying these things, like, it just kind of blew my mind. And Nathan always blows my mind. He's like this little man. Like, you wouldn't think that he's 10. Like, he has the mind of like a adult. It's hilarious. And it's really also quite refreshing. So I'm glad that I'm able to communicate and talk to my son about, things like this. So just because my kids were ready and they were fine with me dating doesn't mean that I was ready to introduce my kids to anybody that I was, entertaining. But I didn't want to introduce my kids to him yet because we were still establishing that relationship and seeing, if we had the same future plans, if we had the same morals and goals and everything like that. So I took that time to just focus on me and him and our relationship and keep my children and my life as a mother separate from that. I told G that I was a mother the very first night that we met, so there's no surprises and no like, oh, by the way, you know what I mean? Like, if you're gonna date me, you're gonna know everything about me, and determine for yourself if I'm someone that you want to date and have in your life, if that's something that you can handle. Because it is a lot, to be like a single person and then take on another single person, but at the same time that person has, dependence. So it's a different type of vibe than you're just dating, two single people. With that being said, it was more G who wanted to meet the kids. Like, it was more like, hey, I'm ready. I want to have every part of your life and I want to join it together with mine. And that's something that I appreciated about him so much, and I knew that he was genuinely ready. I never pressured him to say, hey, you need to meet my kids. It's time now, da 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 da. It was more like him, resonating with the whole idea and understanding, that he is dating a mother and these two children are part of the package deal. And if he wants me and loves me and wants me in his life, then these two come with it, and he has to give all his love to them as well. And he understood that. And it was more him saying that he was ready and this is what he wanted. So I never pressured him to meet the kids. That was something that he always brought up on his own, and I made sure to let him take those steps on his own, so I knew that it was something that he wanted and it was real. It kind of like, you feel when it's the right time for your kids to meet the person that you're dating. There's no like, yeah, there's a 3-month rule or there's a 1 year or a 2-year rule. It's whenever you're ready. I have known people who have dated and been in a relationship with someone that we didn't know about their relationship until 10 years and they're, hey, we're getting married. You know what I mean? Like, so and there's people who have dated somebody within like 2 weeks and they're like, here's my kids, meet them. Like, it depends on your preference and where you feel comfortable and where the children feel comfortable and when your partner feels comfortable. That's how that goes. And for me, it was almost a year wasn't until he like met my kids and my kids met, him. So just when it felt right. We took them out to Big Bear, and it was around Christmas time, and we just had like a nice little mini vacation and just spent family time together and got to see like how everybody vibed and how everything fit, and it was really great. So it was something to look forward to know that this was what my future could potentially look like, and I liked it. So one of the last questions was, how do I find time to spend with G? It's not hard trying to find time to spend with him. you know, he lives near where I work, so I'll see him after work or before work. You know, this was before he met the kids, so it was kind of like, you know, like casual, super quick, like, hey, da 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 da. Or sometimes it'll be like going to grab a quick bite to eat or something like that. Nothing that would take away too much time from the kids and from work and things that I had going on in my life. But now that they have met each other, it's so much easier for all of us to spend time together, and it's less like me dividing my time, and it's kind of like sharing all the time together, which is nice. So that's kind of how that went as far as me dating. It's kind of like casual, quick things, a lot of communication, talking, you know, on the phone and things like that. And that's kind of what established and grew our relationship, a lot of communication and getting to know each other and seeing each other here and there as we could. So yeah, generally my experience with, you know, dating has been mostly casual until I finally met someone that I felt was worthy enough to enter my life and my children's life. And I'm happy where things are right now. And one thing that I like to remind myself is that there's no time frame on when things should be done. You know, if it happens because it feels natural and right at the time. That's how things should be, I feel. And that's kind of how things have been with him. I've given myself time frames, and that's why I say this, because I told myself, well, I wouldn't let this person meet my kids until 5 years or 2 years, and not until this and until that, and everything has to be this and this and this. And life doesn't really work that way. You know, things just naturally progress and happen on its own, and you kind of have to just go with the flow sometimes. And that's kind of what I've been doing with this, and everything has felt okay, and my kids have been okay. So, you know, it's scary dating, you know, being a single mom, because your main priority is to protect your children and making sure that whoever enters their life is, you know, a safe and worthy person. And that's why I took the time that I did to get to know G first before I just immediately introduced him to my kids, because for one, we both were still trying to get to know each other, and I was still trying to analyze the situation. And when I felt comfortable and safe as a mother, that's when I introduced him to my children, and when I knew my children were comfortable as well. And he just fits very well with our family. Like, he fits so well, and it's really quite nice and refreshing to be able to feel that comfort that he provides. That is my experience with dating and being a single mom and doing all of that. Of course, if I didn't answer any of your questions, feel free to leave me some DMs on Instagram. I know the comments are still disabled. I feel like it's going to be disabled entirely, just because I know YouTube is doing this thing with protecting children on YouTube. So obviously I'm a single mom and I have 2 kids that I am recording, so I feel like that's also why that they're trying to take those precaution measures. But yeah, definitely still feel free to DM me on Instagram. That's where I message the majority of you guys when I can. Email is also an option too. Like, feel free to contact me and let's communicate. If you have any questions, I can try to answer those for you. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please don't forget to give it a big thumbs up for me, and please subscribe if you haven't done so already, so you can keep up with all of my updates with my family. And thank you guys always for your support. I really truly appreciate every single one of you. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys in my next one.